Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyra, and here on this channel, we love our makeup. And we especially love using the makeup that we already have. But ultimately, we are here for real makeup, for real life and real people like us. So today's video is all about some real makeup from the drugstore. This video is 100% inspired by Noel here on YouTube. You know who she is. She's my favorite. She's probably yours. And she did a video recently talking about which brands do which category of makeup best. Oliver is in the beauty room with us today and he's feeling antsy. So I apologize if you hear him throughout the video. Hopefully he looks like he's settling in for a nap, but one never knows. I've also seen Jessica Braun and MandyLea, two of my other favorite ladies here on YouTube, do a version of this video, as well as my girl Angela from Beauty and Life with Angela. So I will have everyone's videos linked down below for you so that you can go check their versions out when you're done with mine. I decided to split this up, however. I love my drugstore and affordable makeup, but I also love my high-end and especially luxury makeup. So high-end and luxury will be coming soon, but for now, let's talk about what brands do it best at the drugstore. Starting with primer, I am not a huge primer person, but when I am, I definitely look towards e.l.f. for primers. And this one is the Mint Melt Cooling Primer, but I've also tried the Putty Primer, the Matte Putty Primer. I feel like if you need a primer, e.l.f. has got one for you. They have all the different little colored primers out there still, and those have been around for a long time. 100% primer is done best by e.l.f. Cosmetics. They're inexpensive. They have got a primer for everybody, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it. For foundation, I chose L'Oreal. I am wearing a combination of these two today. This is the Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear, and this is the True Match Nude Tinted Serum, which is newer to my collection. I just feel like L'Oreal has always done a really good job with foundation. True Match, I know, has been a huge hit over the years. It has been a holy grail for a lot of people. I just feel like they do a really good job at sort of catering to the culture at the time, whether that's long wear matte or dewy. Depending on what's going on in the beauty world, L'Oreal is there to give you what you're wanting. I also really love that L'Oreal always brings to the table a really good extensive shade range, and these two are no different. So way to go, L'Oreal. For concealer, hands down, no contest, it's Maybelline for me. The Maybelline Fit Me is definitely in like my top 5 concealers of life. I really enjoy this one. I feel like this concealer is so flexible and can be used in so many different ways. I mean, I wouldn't hesitate at all if I had the right shade to use this as a foundation. It is definitely a solid light to medium coverage, but if you leave it set on your under eyes, which you totally can do, it does add coverage once you blend it out. It's not going to dry down super quickly on you, and so you can sort of bend and shape the coverage to suit your needs. And then we've got the Holy Grail Age Rewind, and this is just a favorite for a reason. It is, I think, targeted for mature skin because it is such a thin, lightweight formula. This is the one that I have on today. Powder, doesn't matter if it's face or under eye or whatever, it's number 7 for me. You guys may already know, if you've been around for a while, that the number 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Finishing Powder in the shade Light is the only thing that I will set my under eye with. It is just so soft and silky and smooth. It has the smoothing effect on the under eye, and I don't want to ever be without this powder. And then you have your Perfect Light powders, pressed and loose. The loose one is newer to my collection, but very, very beautiful. The Perfect Light, however, has been a holy grail of mine for probably more than 5 years now. It's lightweight, but it sets my makeup. I'm an oily girl, but this does really help set my makeup into place. It really does help keep oils at bay. I mean, oils are going to come through irregardless of what I'm wearing, but this one really helps. It's the one that I count on. It is my go-to, and I actually think that this is kind of a dupe for the LYS Triple Fix setting powder, so just putting that out there. And the loose version, it's just airbrushing, it's soft, it's silky, and it has the same setting capabilities as the pressed version. And I like to compare this one to the Hourglass Veil Loose Setting Powder. In the future, I would purchase this one over the Hourglass one, since I'm not purchasing from Hourglass currently. All right, bronzer. I originally had Milani for this one, but then I had to change my mind based on shade range alone. And the winner is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I have mine in the original bronzer shade, but the reason I chose Physicians Formula is not only do they have a range of different types of bronzers beyond the butter bronzer, the butter bronzer itself has a beautiful shade range. It hasn't always been that way. They've sort of added shades over the years, but I feel like the range now is actually a range of bronzers. And so many times we don't see that in the drugstore. We'll see 1, 2, maybe 3 different shades of a bronzer, whereas Physicians Formula has given us a nice light to deep range of bronzers. For blush, you knew this had to be hard for me. How can one pick one brand for blush for the drugstore especially? And I finally landed on Honest Beauty. I have 2 shades. The shade that I'm wearing today is the shade Rose Pink, and it is such a beautiful sort of everyday cream blush shade. But I also have the shade Coral Peach, and this is really fun. These are absolutely stunning. I love this formula. It's very tenacious on the skin. The other thing I absolutely love about this formula is that it performs beautifully over powder. I had applied it over my powder today. I love this blush, and I love what they're doing. They have, again, a range of shades from light to dark, and I think that anybody can wear any shade, but I'm glad that they have shades that are pigmented enough for those with a deeper complexion. For highlight, this was an easy one for me. My all-time favorite drugstore highlight is a cream highlight, and it is this one from Flower Beauty, and that is the Day Glow Highlighting Glaze in the shade Stunner. They also have a more golden, bronzy kind of version, but Flower Beauty also has this baby right here, which is the Shimmer and Strobe Highlighting Palette. And this might just as well be cream. It is a powder, but it is such a soft, creamy powder. I absolutely adore this product. This is the one that I have on today. It's just a beautiful sort of everyday glossy cheek that is almost undetectable on the skin, but it's beautiful. For setting spray at the drugstore, there's only one for this oily girl, and it is the Milani Make It Last. This one happens to be their Fruit Fetish version, and it is in the mango coconut scent. I love this. I love this with a fiery passion. The scent is wonderful, but the addition of the staying power is even better. I do find that this does help with the longevity of my makeup overall, and that is why Milani is the one for me. But if you're not an oily girl, they have a Make It Dewy, and they have Green Goddess, and all different kinds of setting sprays that you can peruse from Milani and find the one that's right for you. For brows, I feel like this is a pretty common answer, and I think that that just shows that this is the brand that does it right at the drugstore, and that is, again, e.l.f. I use the Shape and Stay wax pencil thing almost every day. All it is just a stick of wax, and I just apply some through the brows so that when I comb them up with my spoolie, they stay up while I fill them in. I love the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil. I have the shade Neutral Brown, and I actually finished mine today. And I have had this for a stinking long time. This is only a couple dollars, $2 or $3, and it will last you a really long time. Also, while I like a micro brow pencil, this fills the brows in fast. And then the last one from e.l.f. that I love is the Wow Brow Brow Gel. Again, I have the Neutral Brown shade. This is a volumizing fiber gel, so it has a little bit of fibers in it to make your brows look a little bit more fluffy, but it has a nice little brush. I'll put a picture up for you, and it just makes combing through the brows, setting them, adding a little bit of volume and a little bit of tint very, very easy and affordable. Eyeshadow. Were you wondering what I would choose? Well, for me at the drugstore, and I'm talking the drugstore, I could have gone ColourPop, I could have gone BH Cosmetics, but at the actual drugstore, it's e.l.f. all the way for me. I do enjoy some of their quads. I love this one in Pumpkin Pie. In fact, I had hit pan in the bronze shade up here. It's one of my favorite like milk chocolatey bronzes in my entire collection. I also really enjoy this little guy from the Mint Milk collection. This is the chocolate mint version. So you've got 2 mattes, 2 shimmers. You can definitely get a few looks out of this one. An old classic is the New Classics, and I love this one. I've had this for quite a while. In fact, I repurchased it after gifting mine to my stepmom because she wanted to try some eyeshadow, and I think this is such a beginner-friendly formula overall. Whether you pick the quads or these larger palettes, this has everything you need for a neutral look, in my opinion. But the one I'm wearing today is the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette, and it is just so beautiful. It has your green, your yellow, your neutrals, a ton of blue options, and it's just fun to work with. I used this shade, which is Saltwater, yes, which is such a pretty like blue duochrome shade. I have it on my inner corner. I have it on my center lid. I love this thing. I think it's such a fun little palette. I also really love this yellow shade. It is a metallic yellow called Sun Yourself, and it is also kind of a duochrome and just so pretty. So pretty. Next for me for mascara is e.l.f. again. They are taking another category, and it is the e.l.f. Lash It Loud mascara. They also have a new one called Big Mood, which I know a lot of other people like. I love this one, and I specifically love this one because it is good to the last drop. Like, it's good right out of the, the first time out of the tube, but this thing is like light as air and empty. In fact, I already had this in my empties, and I put it on today, and it did its thing just like it always does. There may not be a lot of selection at the drugstore of e.l.f. mascaras, but they're definitely trying more and more and doing their thing more and more. And they also have a lash and brow serum available now, so if you're interested in that, that's an option too. For lip liners, again, no contest. For me, it is Milani. And they have two different formulas that I really enjoy. If you're more into a retractable pencil, which it just depends for me, I'm fine with either. You have your understatement lip liners right here. I'm about to be on my third pencil of the shade Nude Entrance. This is all I have left of my second one. And this is just like my go-to nude lip liner. It's a perfect nude. If you're more into like a pillow talk, like pinky nude shade, I would steer you towards French Rose up here, or the one that I'm wearing today, which is a little bit of more of a medium nude shade. I would steer you toward Desert Rose. It's a little more pinky, but it is a little bit deeper. For regular old pencil liners, which I love, I think they have the best chance of longevity on the lips typically. They have the Color Statement lip liners. I have the shade All Natural, which I feel like is a pretty darn close dupe to Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude. And then the shade Nude, again, I feel like is a pretty darn close dupe to Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk in the shade, not in the formula. For lipstick, there is only one brand at the drugstore that I think does it right, and does it right no matter what the formula, and that is Maybelline. I love Maybelline lipsticks. I have a couple of one-offs over here. This is in their Made for Everyone line, and it is the shade Spice for Me. I just thought this was a really fun sort of orangey fall color, and these are really beautiful, and they're meant to work with any skin tone if you like the color. And then this is one of their like shine formula, and this is the shade Baddest Beige. I specifically just purchased this as a means of lightening up the center of other lipsticks. And then my favorite formula currently from Maybelline is their Superstay Ink crayons. I have 5 of them here. I'll start with the 2 that I'm wearing today. I first put on the shade Lead the Way, which is the first shade that I bought in the range. It's just a nice pinky nude. And then I went around the outskirts, like in the corners and around the edge of my mouth, with the shade Live on the Edge, which is kind of like a nice brownie berry shade. Really, really beautiful. And then my daughter picked up this shade for me called Own Your Empire, which is a beautiful blue red. And then this is a beautiful pink for any occasion. I believe it originally came out with like a special Valentine's Day collection, and that one is called Run the World. It's this one right over here. And then this one right here is one of my favorites. It's called Accept a Dare, and it's like a plummy berry shade. So, I mean, I just think if you are looking for a new lipstick to freshen up your life or freshen up your makeup stash, I don't think you could go wrong with any formula that you might find from Maybelline. My favorite gloss formula from the drugstore is the Milani Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumpers. I've finished tubes and tubes of this stuff over the years. I have a beautiful iridescent shade called Moonlight. It's just really pretty to layer over like pink and mauve and plum and berry kind of shades. This is my second or third tube of Luminoso, which is very much like the blush Luminoso. It's sort of a peachy shade with warm shimmers in it. I am getting ready to need to repurchase this one again, and this is the shade Soft Rose. And then lastly, I have the shade Rosewood, which is really pretty. It has a tiny bit of sparkle in it, but it is more of like a creamy, milky color versus Moonlight and Luminoso that are more shimmery. So I love these. They have not a sting or even like a plumping feeling. It's just a light minty sensation, I guess. And they smell amazing, and I just really, really love the formula. It's comforting, it feels nourishing on the lips. So let me know what you think down below. Do you think I got it right? Do you have other brands that you feel like do it best at the drugstore for certain categories? Were there any surprises for you? Let me know down below in the comments any of your categories and which brands you think do it best at the drugstore. I appreciate you and I appreciate your time as always, and I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days, drugstore or otherwise. And I will see you in my next video very soon.